Welcome, everyone, to our live broadcast here. Citywide Blackout. I am talking to author Jeremy Flagg. You know him best from The Children of Nostradamus, The Nighthawks, and that's become really just a small fraction of what you do. It's kind of like exploded overnight. You're doing all these different things.
Yeah, so it went from, I'm just going to write a book here and there, to maybe I'll add an audio book, not a big deal, to now I run a superhero consortium of, like, we're like the Justice League of authors. We actually just refer in all our emails, it's the League of Extraordinary Authors. And so Trish Heinrich and I started that as a way to promote ourselves. And so that's taken off, and like there's a promo happening this week for 99-cent books. The next week we're doing, like, it's all over the place.
Yes, exactly. The thing that I really want to open with, though, is that you're also doing a comic book. I saw that you're working on a comic with Amanda Kahl, who is known for the Age of Night comic series. And tell me about that, man. I really want to know, because I'm a huge comics consumer.
So like all good stories in my life, it starts in the hot tub.
Where all good stories should begin, really.
There may have been beer. We may have been sober. I'm not entirely sure anymore. Either way. So originally, my superhero universe, I wanted a graphic novel tie-in. So just like an 8-page comic, nothing extraordinary. And then we started talking about, well, maybe we could expand this into its own little property and pitch it out to other people for publication. And what really happened was I pitched her the idea, and she's in the hot tub and she's just nodding her head, and she's like, no. Like, and don't get me wrong, like, I was pitching an idea that even I thought was kind of trashy. Like, it wasn't good. It wasn't thought out. It was like every generic story you could possibly come up with. I could not think of something at the time like that tied in. And so we wound up chit-chatting, and she started looking at other ideas that I had for just books. And there was originally going to be a 2-book series, a duology, called I Am the First and I Am the Last. And it's all about, and at the time I just had a name, like I Am the First. Just, it's so good, and it's so like, first what? Let me find out more. And then I thought, I Am the Last. Well, that sounds a little apocalyptic. Like, what could this be? And so that's really all I had on the pitch. And I knew it was going to be about a young kid who discovers he has superpowers. And that was the gist of it. And so we started talking about this idea, and it's still very superhero. It's not part of my novel world whatsoever. And she was like, this sounds so much more interesting than anything else you pitched me. And I was like,
there you go. Win's a win.
And she's been working in comics for a decade. So she understands what tells a visual story and what would just be a good narrative. And so ultimately what we decided to do, we wanted to really honor where we grew up. And Amanda was in, I'm going to get this wrong. When I was a senior, she was in 7th grade. My senior year, I took a creative writing class that was only open to a very select students in the senior junior class, and Amanda. She tested off the charts, and they had no idea what to do with it. My school was crap all around. So they were like, let's just stick her in the top English. And so here we are, writing teen smut, basically, and she's in there.
Because at that age, of course you will, right?
Yeah. I mean, what else?
What else do teenagers think about? Really?
Money, driving, and sex, and really not in that order.
It's mostly sex. I think it's mostly sex.
Yeah. Sex in the car. What can I buy with my money to get sex? Yeah. Pretty much all
I think all the different trains of thought all end at that station. The sex station.
Yeah, it might be winding, but we're getting to the same point.
It's all in the same spot.
And so I never heard from her again. And I started going to Savannah College of Art and Design in Georgia, and I was doing it online, and all of a sudden I get a friend request from this girl, and I was like, who the hell is this? Like, she's not my age bracket. There's something weird here. And so I asked a friend of mine, I was like, this name is really familiar. And he goes, remember that little girl that was in our class? I was like, yeah, her. So, well, I was going to Savannah for my master's. She was going for her undergrad in sequential art. And so I went down to Savannah to go to a conference there, and we had beers, and she married my best friend's little brother later on. So like our lives have always been this weird intertwinedness. And so one of the things we really wanted to feature in this story is we wanted to tell our story. So, and I know everyone could say this, but growing up in Maine is not like growing up in the rest of the United States. I try to explain to people, our freshman year, we're required, and this is one class, we're required to take health. In health, you take a quarter of alcohol, drug awareness, sexual, whatever health they do, personal, physical, mental health, and hunter safety.
Jeez.
So literally in 1 week, we are learning about anatomy of the human body. And the next week we transition to don't point your rifle at me, which weirdly enough could be the same conversation, but that's a whole different segue. And so we grew up in this like really remote area, and we didn't grow up in the county. So we're not potato pickers. So we're not like that ideal of farmers. We're close, just not quite there. So the story follows a young boy who gets superpowers. And we had a long conversation about why he should have superpowers. What now? And one of the conversations we had got like weirdly dark as we talked about how heroes are born from trauma. And so Batman is the easiest example.
Yeah.
Batman would cease to exist if his parents weren't murdered. So Batman gets his parents killed and Bruce Wayne becomes Batman. It's trauma that makes him the hero.
Yep.
So we decided to take it quite literal, and the teenage boy, he's I think a junior in high school in the comic, and he tries to kill himself, except he fails. And when he comes back, and this is in the opening page, it's a failed suicide attempt. You see the pill bottles, he wakes up in the field, and he doesn't know what to do at this point. He just knows he's late for school. So he goes about his business. And in the first issue of the comic, we were really deliberate on, we wanted him to almost be a shell of a human, because he just went through this traumatic event and failed at the one thing he wanted to achieve. And he gets powers because of it. And the trauma that causes powers isn't always suicide. It can be just some overwhelming amount of trauma. And so at the same time, he lives in this rural area of Maine that is city enough to be a city for Maine folk, but the rest of us would be like, that's the boondocks. And he's coming out of the closet as gay. And that really doesn't, it's part of the story as an allegory, but we focus more on him coming out as a superhero. And so it has this weird parallel. And the reason we decided to go with all of this is because ultimately we asked ourselves, what was the comic book we needed when we were younger? And Amanda has always been like super supportive of the LGBT community. And we decided, if people are going to hate on us, let's balls to the wall. We're not going to hold back. His best friend is Black, and where we come from, that's just not a thing. The police chief is a Black man, and there's racial tension. And we just decided, screw it. Maine people are going to hate this because they might be a little issues here and there.
Yeah.
But there are those up there that need stories like this. So we decided that's where it was going to go. From hot tub to conception, and 20 years later, boom, here's a comic book idea.
Nice, man.
And so I've just seen the first panels of it right now. I wrote the script. She told me my script sucked. I had to rewrite my script.
Wow, but you know, it's good that she's just not just like agreeing with whatever you're like putting out there for the sake of like work. You know, she's like, oh no, this is garbage. Do it again.
And she was really good because I've never written a comic book script. It's not easy.
It's difficult.
It is probably the hardest thing I've ever written. And she gave me feedback. I took it to students. I asked some of my students to give me feedback, and they just looked at me and were like, no teenager does this. Just stop that. Stop this. Fix this. And I'm not kidding. I have a draft somewhere that a student handed back to me that looks like he painted it in red ink.
Ooh.
I understand what it means to be a student in high school.
Yeah, right. And it's good to get that kind of perspective because, you know, for us, our teen years are well behind us. So it's almost like we almost have to like relearn what it meant to be a teen. And the fact is, our teen years are different from the current teen years. They're two very different things.
And we really wanted to make this kind of an evergreen story because, you know, Maine hasn't changed that much on the outsider looking in, but teens are teens. They evolve like every other day. So we really pushed our boundary with what would be acceptable in Maine, and we ignored the masses and we focused on those really specific individuals who this story would cater to. There were multiple people in my school that, you know, 10, 15 years later, you're like, oh yeah, I knew you were gay, but no one would come out of the closet back then.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is kind of a tribute for them. So we are definitely making it full of heart, but the opening page starts with a suicide attempt. So we decided very early on that if we were going to do it, we are not going to hold back. It's kind of, I don't know if you ever read 13 Reasons Why.
Is that the same name for the Netflix show? Okay, no, I haven't gone to it yet.
So people were all up in arms being like, oh no, this book is about teen suicide. If you don't think teens are trying to kill themselves, then you're not watching.
All the time.
And so
yeah.
And there was a little bit of an issue where we thought, this actually had to get rewritten because originally the only way you got powers was by dying. And it was a little too, you're kind of saying like suicide attempt could be heroic. So like we handled everything with care, and there was definitely a lot of back and forth. And thank God she's on the project because she's got no problem putting me in my place. Nice. Which I need a lot.
Nice. Wanted to do a quick shout out to the folks who are watching at home. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. My friend Kate's actually watching. What's up, Kate? Feel free to ask questions if you guys want to do, comments and so forth. So this comic, as you mentioned, very early stages. Do you have any kind of an ETA yet, or is that just whenever it gets done?
Well, so Amanda has actually been working pretty hard on it, and I did not understand how the pitch process worked. Again, this is new to me. She's kind of driving the business side of this endeavor. We kind of knew who we wanted to be our publisher, and then some weird stuff happened with the whole comic gate and diversity crap. And we wound up our primary publisher, we wound up saying we're not publishing to them, but we still want to pitch it to some publishers, which require an 8-page comp. So we're doing 8 pages out of order that kind of show the best of the best. Mm-hmm. The problem is everything's shut down.
Right.
So
everything's closed. Whoops.
Diamond distribution kind of screwed over comic book stores everywhere.
I heard about that. Yeah, that was a huge thing a few weeks ago. A bunch of people said there's no I think a couple publishers said they were no longer going to work with them because
and there's no alternative.
Yeah.
None. Absolutely nothing in that works at the level of them. And as long as Marvel and DC support them, they can do whatever they want, and they will screw over every comic book store. And the owner is a grade A douche. And if anyone wants to come after me for that, I'm ready for that fight. but he's screwing over all these small indies who are reliant on, issue 1 came out of their comic. It's a four issue run. Now it's going to be 3, 4, 5 months before issue 2 comes out. That was money that was sitting on the shelf that they needed.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
The smaller publishers are trying to support, but they're small. They live paycheck to paycheck as well.
Yeah.
So we're kicking around the idea of self-publishing, but she has her own project as well. So as much as I could say like, oh, this would be great to have done in the next, 8 months. Mm-hmm. I wrote the script. My heavy lifting's done. So now I just color the flats for her, which is super easy compared to what she's doing. Mm-hmm. So, but I've seen most of the comic in its rough draft form. So, essentially, she really needs to give up her husband and 2 kids and just work on my project.
That seems reasonable. Yeah, it's perfectly reasonable request.
Not forever. Maybe just for a few months.
Not forever. You know what she needs to do is get an apartment like somewhere else. Go there for like say 6 months. Work exclusively on your project, nothing else, and then once all done, then she can go back to her family. You'll like let her out.
Yeah, like I feel like it's more artistic than Hannibal, but along those lines.
Awesome. I think that violates several laws, but I could be wrong about that. Who knows?
We're from Maine. Do we even have laws?
There are. Well, you barely have people up there, right?
We have 1 cop for like 13 towns.
Wow, that's some quiet towns, or just a really awesome cop.
The high school that I work at right now has more chairs for students in the building than the entire 13 towns of my school district has people.
Damn.
So
that's something, dude. That's something.
I go to a school bigger city than my hometown.
Yeah. just move along. Oh wow! So this is a really cool title, man. I'm really digging this the concept, because one of the things is the trauma. Normally, the trauma is something that happens to like someone else. It's like like I said, Bruce Wayne, his parents die. Peter Parker loses his Uncle Ben. Superman loses his whole like damn planet. But it's not always the trauma happens directly to the person. So I kind of like the redirect you're doing there.
Well, and we had to ask, like, why now? Why this person? And in true comic book superhero fashion, we don't care. Like, we're just not answering the question, because it is a plot hole, don't get me wrong. But why did Peter Parker not, like, why do you do what you do only after horrible things happen to you?
Exactly, like, yeah.
Spider-Man was kind of a dink before.
Oh yeah, he was a total arrogant chode. He completely full of himself, which is weird because like he starts off as being the most like humble kid in the world, and it's like, I got powers, I'm gonna push everyone else around. Oh wait, I shouldn't have done that. My uncle's dead. Oh well.
Now I'm gonna be a good guy.
Yeah. Even though he keeps getting like people killed, like it's just like there's just this like trail of bodies with his name on it.
Yeah. If you by chance know who Spider-Man is, you might as well just put on a red shirt. You're out.
Yeah, you may as well just find like Electro or Doc Ock or Venom and say, look, I'm just going to save you the trouble of hunting me down. Just go ahead and get it done over, because you're going to do it eventually. I may as well just speed the whole process along.
I feel like that's an idea for a comic right there.
Yeah, we're like the best friends and the family of the hero, just like. Or like just like one of them goes to villain and says, look, you're going to kill me eventually. You know who this dude is. You know who his friends are. I'm just going to save the trouble. I took out a huge life insurance policy. My family's set. Do it.
But the whole thing is he can never manage it.
Like, he keeps getting like saved.
Somehow he always like gets either saved by a hero who essentially becomes the villain, or like he's just wrong place, wrong time.
Oh, wow.
Like the dude next to him gets crushed and he's like, man, 5 feet away.
Yeah. Damn it.
That close.
Almost got me. Oh. This is dark as hell, right?
Hey, I don't write chipper stuff
No,
anymore.
you don't. You do not, sir. One of your like first books opens with like a brutal assassination. So yeah, you're not known for your fuzzies.
Yeah, I am. By the way, it's also one of the most hated things ever about my book. I basically introduce the kind, sweet, caring grandmother and then shoot her in the head. Now, granted, now that I'm writing the prequels, she knew it was going to happen the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
So she's trying to change something that can't be changed. So
hey, this is how these stories happen. There always has to be some big thing to happen to kick him like into gear, you know. And yeah, you just went and slaughtered basically Aunt May. Good job.
And then like 2 pages later, I nuke New England. Man, the body count by like page 20 is like hundreds of thousands, easily millions.
Thanos is watching, thinking, "Damn, he's hardcore."
And then I find a way to put zombies in book 4. So hey, I basically got everything I wanted there.
Yeah, it's your books, man. You can do whatever you want with them.
And then I napalm them. So just for fun, because why not?
So so I imagine you were the kid when you played SimCity. You just got all your cities wiped out. You just set things up.
No. It probably, if my parents understood what I was doing in SimCity, there probably would have been a trip to the doctor, because you put them in, you let them go swimming in the pool and you take out the ladder, or you make them fall in love so they start having babies, and then you take the doors off the house and see how many people can fit there before they start killing each other.
Oh, God.
Put them in a closet and then take the door away. Like, yeah, it was, man, I learned a lot about what digital people can endure.
I know, right? I know, man. So this alone is definitely a big deal, but it's really one of many things you have going on right now. You mentioned earlier this the superhero fiction website, which is sort of a writer's community for those who work in those genres, and it can be anyone. It can be like any like age level, any kind of like. There's so many like different things within superheroes that you can write about. But you've got a big event coming up, actually, which is your virtual convention, guys. Not an actual convention. No one's being put at risk. It's a virtual convention happening May 18th through the 22nd. Tell us about it, please.
So Trish Heinrich is my partner in crime in this endeavor. We met at a writing convention many years ago. Well, we've been talking for years. Actually, she started off as my arch nemesis, which makes it even funnier.
Of course she was.
We had a weird competition going, and I was like, ugh, I'm never going to like her. Now we work together on everything. So,
or do you?
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder which one of us is Professor X and which one of us is Magneto. Like, there's a gray zone.
Yeah.
She's probably more Mr. Fantastic, and I'm Dr. Doom.
Nice.
But so what we did was we got really aggravated. Amazon has some problems. And the biggest problem with Amazon is if you go to the superhero category and you want to go find a superhero related book, it's erotica.
Jeez.
I mean, it's as much TNA as could possibly be. It's not even disguised as superhero. You'll find alternative history erotica on there. You'll find romance novels, urban fantasy where young teen has magical powers. No, I'm calling quits. Done. I'm over Amazon. And so if you were a reader of any of these genres, there was no way to find us. And I'm talking, I managed to get to the top 100 in the store, and I still couldn't break the number one spot in this tiny little niche category. The person above me was selling like 10,000 copies a day. We can't compete with that. That's just not what our genre is about. Mm-hmm. So we decided we needed to create some sort of system that bypasses Amazon. And so the superhero fiction website is really for readers to go to and find superhero books and their subgenres. So romance superhero, perfect. You want action adventure, perfect. Mystery, you want middle grade, you want space, you want science fiction. We've broken it up, and we've even done an urban fantasy because, you know, there is Doctor Strange and magic does happen in comic books. So this has become a repository of books. And what we started with was just that we reached out to the people we knew. And as of a couple of days ago, we have 300 books on there that are specifically superhero. We vet them. So we turn away every day. Someone is like, my extremely busty female is extra strong. She must be a superhero. No, I'm sorry. Click, delete.
Yeah, good try.
So, and we on the back end of everything, there's a Facebook group where all the authors can communicate. We come up with like group ideas, and we're a collective. We work together on stuff because it's definitely a case of rising tide raises all ships. And so we are trying to drive as much traffic to this website right now. And so like this week, there are 15 books that are on a 99-cent sale. That good, go get them. Because ultimately what we want is we want traffic going to the website, which means more sales for superhero authors, which is good for us. And the readers, they get discounted books. They get books that they know are in genres that they like. And so we're trying to find like this great collaboration. And a couple of weeks ago, Trish and I partook in CornCon, which was a virtual convention from the UK, I believe. And we just talked superhero stuff. It was awesome. It was 6 of us. And afterwards, I sent her a message. I was like, you do know that we're going to have our own convention now, right? And so in 2 weeks, we put together 20 authors that are going to do 5 nights of panels. And it's going to be, we wanted a broad range of topics that readers would like. It's not about us. It's about what the readers are into. And so we have superhero romance. We have, creating the powers behind supers, the not so nice anti-hero, superheroes on screen, and the origin of a superhero. And we got people who write in those particular genres to step up, and it should be a good time. It's advertising for the website. It lets fans get to know us as humans, and we've all been trapped indoors. We seriously need interaction with other humans.
Maybe you do. I'm okay just, like talking to the walls.
I do live writing literally every day.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
I need even a talking to the void. Yeah. Hello, darkness, my friend. Like,
well, I think if you get to that level, it might be time to worry. I love this idea. I really do, because we've seen a lot of events go virtual, of course, but there's been a lot of virtual concerts as of late. At San Diego Comic-Con, of course, they got canceled, but they're doing a virtual event. And I loved the ad for it because it was advertising free parking, free snacks, no lines. Like, yeah, because you don't have to go anywhere. Of course, it's like,
man, that's free. Genius. I wish we had come up with that.
I know, right? Well, you can still do it. A good idea is worth stealing. No lines, free parking, whatever snacks you want to, pets welcome. It's like, damn, that's really good. All those are awesome ideas.
I'm so stealing this.
I know, right? You have to now. You have to. But I think this is a really cool idea. I think this is a great way of kind of adapting to the current times.
Well, and that's like you and I. We met at a convention.
We did.
So
we did.
The conventions are great because we get to sell product, and that's if you're a product seller. Some people just go to be on panels. Mm-hmm. Some people just want to go and hear other people talk about their specialty.
Yeah,
like it's a little of something for everybody, and by hosting on the website, our books are there for you to buy. Mm-hmm. We get to collaborate with one another, mm-hmm. and people can come and listen to these specific topics. And if you like the person, go stalk them. So,
maybe no.
Hey, we're all locked indoors.
Right.
It's okay. Just
Politely.
don't breathe on me.
Politely.
Stalk from 6 feet.
Right? Yes, I'm 6 feet away. Wear your mask.
Yeah.
Be polite about it, though. You know, polite stalking. That's okay.
I'm just gonna see all these people with masks out in my yard and be like, "What's going on?
What have I done?"
I would be kind of okay with that.
Yeah. All right. So you're gonna have what time are the panels going to be at?
So there's one every night, and it's going to be 6 p.m. Eastern time, and they're going to be live. So the moderators are going to be in moderating. I'm going to be in the back end talking to people via social media. It just so happened that it was kind of the perfect storm. Like, we discovered some new technology that makes this a lot easier for us. And then we were like, well, if it's so easy, then what is our apprehension anymore? If it's just going to be us getting together. And then we are talking about the possibility of, turning this into not a monthly thing like that level, but maybe once a month have a panel where people talk about whatever topic is interesting readers. We're kind of there to serve the public, like serve our readers. And so if our readers want some sort of thing to show up, like maybe one of the authors wants their fans want live readings. Well, let's do a monthly live reading. Like, we have the capability of doing it. So why not? People are starving for content that isn't just Netflix and Hulu. I think we burned out on that in the first 45 days.
Yeah. It's definitely kind of hitting a wall, I think.
My Netflix just says, go shower. I've run out of things to watch.
Don't give in to Netflix, Remy. Don't shower. Don't you push you. Do not let Netflix push you around.
Them.
Yeah, I'll show them. I want to shower for a week straight. A week later, I've made a terrible mistake.
It's always when it does the are you still there? And I'm like, I shouldn't be. I should not be.
I really should be calling my family or picking up.
I need to break up my day.
Yeah,
I've watched way too much of whatever crap I'm watching, and it is crap. I'm officially into the level of watching complete and utter trash TV.
Oh, jeez. Well, what's been the good stuff you've been watching?
Oh, so I just started watching the last season of Walking Dead. I'm enjoying it. Some people are like, not a big fan. Devs on Hulu, top notch. I highly suggest watching it. Don't let the main actress and her lack of ability to emote bother you. It's still worth it. And I'm halfway through the last season of Westworld, which just everyone go watch Westworld. Just watch it again and again. And no matter what you think of it, you got it wrong. So go watch it a second time.
Nice.
And that's been my decent watching as of late.
Yeah. I'm curious as to what you call the garbage watching, because I'm sure that'll start a few fights.
I just finished the last season of the last Housewives of whatever.
Oh,
and I am officially out. You know that combined, there's 40-something seasons worth of that show.
That's 40 too many.
I watched them all in quarantine. I mean, not watch. You don't actually watch that crap, but it's my background work noise.
Yeah. Okay, so that.
Oh, look. Some ladies are screaming at each other again. This deserves attention.
Right. Back to work.
Yeah.
We all have our garbage shows we kind of just put on as background noise while we get our work done. I totally get that, man.
And even Simpsons or Family Guy, that, I don't mind watching them, but no one craves watching Family Guy. They watch it because it's on.
Yeah, exactly. I just finished watching the second season of Kingdom on Netflix. Everyone go watch that right now, because I feel like it's been very underrated. It's sort of fallen beneath the radar.
That's kind of zombie-esque, isn't it?
It's exactly zombie-esque. So give people some background. It's a zombie apocalypse series, but it's set in ancient China.
Yeah.
And so it's minus all the modern conveniences that you normally have with these shows. No steel structures, no shotguns, no trucks, nothing. Like at this, I forget the exact year where it takes place, but in this thing, firearms are still seem to be a very new thing. Like they have single shot muskets and they have cannons, and that's about it. And there's a lot of political background too, because the ruling structure doesn't give two craps about the people. They couldn't care less. They view them as expendable commodities, basically. So you've got these two things happening at once. Where you have the political, machinations going in the background. Meanwhile, you have zombies, which are so well. The makeup on this thing is phenomenal. The directing is great. The acting is superb. I mean, this is, and I feel like this is sort of fallen beneath the radar because they have The Last Kingdom, which is like their Vikings-esque series. So it's like name conflict there.
Oh yeah,
and they're both Netflix series too. So you think you would have thought they would have like caught that.
I think they're at the point now that they're just like, just pick some words,
right? Just words, whatever. We don't really give a crap. We'll come up with a cool font, and the rest will do itself. But that's been my pandemic show, because hey, it's not this.
Well, so Trish and I on one of our podcasts had the conversation of what do you watch during the pandemic, and she goes for the not light and fluffy, but definitely the lighter tone humor, a little more of the feel good. And I go for I want to see people be eaten. I want to know it could be worse.
Yep.
And when bad stuff happens and everyone's freaking out, I'm just like, well, there's no zombies.
Yep. There you go. Hey, I still got I still got my Netflix. I still got my home. Could be worse. Yeah.
There's indoor plumbing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, can you imagine? I actually remember this one part of The Walking Dead. I think it was in season 5 or 6, where they get to brush their teeth for the first time in months. I think, how do they have teeth at all? How have they not lost everything to gum disease?
On that show, I cringe.
Right? Yeah.
Now there's actually part of the plot is they live in a self-contained city that does have plumbing. It was actually a note at the beginning of the season. Oh, the copper pipes are starting to go. Well, they brought it up.
Yeah.
But so I'm writing a serial on my blog right now, and I write one chapter, I guess, every other week. And they're in this wasteland that there's no modern conveniences. And it's as simple as, I was trying to think of I just need her to get really, really excited about something to offset the horrible that's about to happen. And I was like, shampoo, okay, that could be good. And then I thought, is weird, she's been out on the road for almost a month. Tampons.
Yeah.
Simple stuff like that.
Little things. Floss. Come on.
The things we use every single day.
A razor?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. If I didn't have my electric buzzer, it would be all over. So, but that stuff, they forget in all these apocalyptic things. Oh yeah, they look a little bit dirty, but that's not, it would be so much worse. So much worse. And you think of all the diseases they would pick up along the way. Dysentery, all kinds of fevers and sickness. It's how are any of you alive? I mean, I know you guys are badass, but come on, biology is biology. It would be medieval Europe, except you would remember what it was like before. Oh, jeez. Yeah, you'd be like, much. Remember when we had penicillin, but now I'm going to die of this one little cut on my leg. Exactly, yeah. I mean, how any of them make it to the end of a season without coming down with some serious sickness or injury or whatever is a miracle. And weirdly enough, in this season of Walking Dead, that's a plot point. They are all getting sick from a very just tainted water. It's as simple as that. Which, where are they getting the water in general? Where are they getting any water? It's not like streams are clean. Yeah, and so they're getting their water from a stream and they purify it, and they went through the purification process, like they explained it. And that's one of the things that I really like from my books is yes, there's superheroes. Yes, they have powers that defy science, but even then I try to loosely explain them with science. And then there's just real worldness. Like, yes, New England is a nuclear wasteland, but these people can survive there because it's part of their physiology. Humans don't survive there. They die of radiation poisoning. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to mention that. And I have a character who managed to like become the leader of his tribe because he survived. That is literally the only reason. Everyone else has died. And so, like, there's ramifications for these large scale things. And without that, and that's why I like my zombie series, I contained it within a school. Now, don't get me wrong. It's basically Scooby-Doo meets The Walking Dead. It's not meant to be serious.
Does Shaggy make it? That's all I want to know. Does he make it?
Yeah.
No. He would never. He wouldn't last 4 seconds.
So, like, if you think about it, if zombies actually happened tomorrow, we'd be fine. Nothing bad would happen of it. Yeah, New York would have a rough time. You know, LA would have a rough time. But realistically, the Midwest exists. Maine exists.
Yeah. They wouldn't even know that anything was going on for who knows how long, because the zombies, you know, like think of how long it would take to walk from L.A. to South Dakota.
And then just think, well, by the time they get there, there's going to be winter.
Yeah.
Things freeze.
Exactly.
So, like, you have to apply, and that's what I really liked about World War Z.
Love that series. Love it.
When he wrote that, he applied logistics, and that's one of the things that I really loved about it. The zombies freeze, so people move up to Canada, and then some of them die because there was an early thaw, so they had to move further north. Well, when food runs out, what do? Don't ask what's in the stew. And like, these are logistic concerns, and I like bringing a little bit of that. And so even in my zombie series, which I mean is slapstick comedy, the zombies only exist inside the high school or the mall. And it's because the security system locks them in. I wanted a contained world where I didn't have to worry about the apocalypse getting outside, because they're high school students. They don't care about anything outside their own purview. So I made it so in front of them. And so I think that bringing in that little bit of reality, even as far-fetched as you can get, just helps people go, oh, finally, someone answered this question.
Yeah.
Like, did you ever read The Walking Dead, the comic?
I read, I'm going to sound like such a nerd now, but I was actually reading the comic before the show even happened. So when I heard they're making a show, I thought, holy crap, you know, this is amazing. My favorite comic is becoming a show now.
So I just read the first 6 issues of the Days Go By.
Days Gone By, I think it's what's called.
Yeah. And what does Glenn call the dead in issue 3?
Oh, walkers?
No.
What? I do.
Zombies.
Oh, that's right. One thing that actually I think that they don't really explain in the series is that in the world of The Walking Dead, you know, George Romero doesn't exist. He was never born.
Yeah.
So like all these books and movies that have prepared us so well for this kind of thing never happened. So the whole zombie genre basically doesn't exist.
And so I like the fact that Glenn gives them just the simple, it's literally only mentioned once.
Yeah, I remember that.
Zombies in the first time.
Yeah.
And it's a nod to George Romero, who didn't actually call them zombies. Just saying.
Nope.
And then, but they also removed zombies from popular vernacular to make an actual problem happen, which was awesome.
Yeah, because actually, you would think if we actually had that to happen these days, we'd be on point very quickly, because we've been living with this thing for years. So like, yeah, everyone has their own like zombie apocalypse plan in the back of the head, so they know, okay, you know, aim for the head. If you gotta get firearms, so get like a shotgun or pistol or sniper rifle. Don't waste time with an assault rifle because it's too widespread.
And people walk into a room and go, "That would work. That would work."
Yep,
I'm good. We're good.
Yeah, exactly. Baseball bat, axe, sword, done. Chainsaw.
There's a sword within my eyesight right now. Just saying.
Actually, I read somewhere that actually swords are a poor choice because they lack the because actually cutting through bone is actually very, very difficult. They make it seem like it just parts like the water, but it's actually incredibly hard to do.
And even if you can, once it's there, unless you have a perfect angle, it warps the blade enough that you can't withdraw.
Exactly. So unless you know what you're doing, which of course, how many people actually know how to sword fight these days? So unless you actually know what you're doing, you are not going to make that clean cut. You're going to pull back at the last second. You're going to resist. You don't have the arm strength for it.
And that's what I like. Like in The Walking Dead, they're just like Michonne's swords. They cut through everything like butter. She's don't ask questions.
She's a Jedi. She's basically it's actually like a lightsaber. They just didn't have the special effects budget for it, so it's just okay. It's a sword. It's just like magical.
Now that you said it, every time she swings, I'm just gonna hear the.
No, you know what it is? She is the Silver Samurai from X-Men, and she has the power to charge her sword with kinetic energy, so it just cuts through everything like butter. Something. I mean, she needs like an explanation. So how she can do this, because I think it's mentioned in the comics that she used to fence when she was in law school, as a way of, but it's like, but fencing and this are two very different things. That one doesn't work.
And from when she first started, don't get me wrong, she was really good with it, but not in like an elegant manner. Like she was brutal.
Yeah.
Now her and her daughter are fighting, and it's almost poetic, and you're like, okay, it's pretty to watch.
Whatever. I'm just going.
I'm willing to accept zombies, but I'm not willing to accept your sword fighting.
yeah. Zombies, I'm totally cool with that. I don't actually need their origin story. This, nah. You and your daughter looking like something out of like a samurai movie. No.
Yeah.
I call foul people.
The explanation for how they still have toilet paper, suspect.
How do any of them still have teeth? How do they not also come to like massive gingivitis?
And some of them even say I keep my head buzzed because I can't clean it. Okay, that's your hair. There's more of you,
How do you get buzz though? Exactly. How do you keep it short in the first place? What do you use a sword or something?
There's a scene where he's using a straight edge, and I've done straight edge to my head before.
Sure. Okay.
You don't go outside the next day because you're too busy bleeding.
Oh, jeez.
I've done it many times, and there's always one nick somewhere. And so the fact that they're just like, okay, now let's go save the world.
They don't, what it is? They just don't show you the early scenes where they get massive infections all over their scalp from numerous cuts. It's like, the first few times was rough. I got better at it though.
That one little nick, gangrene, you're gone.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, think of all the things that we do in our given day that we're reliant on modern technology and modern medicine, modern infrastructure, and now take all that away and then ask yourself, how many days are you going to last?
I am fat, so not long.
Was it Zombieland? The first person to go with the fat people. Yeah, you and me are done. And we don't have the cardio.
As long as I can stay holed up, I'm good. But the moment I have to go out and deal with this, whew, maybe I can find a moped or I don't know,
a Segway or something you can just motor on.
It's which actually. Segways are in my second zombie book.
Nice.
It's a thing.
You're I can actually now. So you're on the Segway. You got 30 or so zombies behind you. You're all right, I'm doing good. I'm outpaced. I'm doing good. And all of a sudden the battery runs out.
And the person on the Segway in my book is a samurai.
Segway samurai. That works.
Yeah.
There you go.
And it came from watching Mall Cops while I was writing the book at a Starbucks in the mall. And I was like, I need to take these mall cops out. So I wrote a book.
There you go. Revenge.
And that's really been like the weird source of inspiration for almost every book that I write, is this weird notion of, what would this be if it was grounded in reality? Like, I don't know if you've ever read the book called The Physics of Superhero, who's actually written by a physicist. Mm-mm. And he teaches a class on the physics of superhero, and he uses math, which I don't really get most of, but he goes through and he explains that for Superman to fly the way he does would, potentially upset the balance of the earth, and he does out the equations, and he's like, the amount of thrust for him to get off, imagine a rocket trying to leave Earth's orbit. That's Superman. They're the same thing. And so as he's going through like all of these lectures, you're like, how come people aren't just including some semblance of realism? And that's kind of where all my books come from. I mean, books, my zombie books, just whatever with those. They're just there for laughs. So, and so that's basically everything that, comic book, superhero novels, the serial, even the horror shorts that I write, there's always some piece of realism. And I'm stuck on zombies because I'm writing a zombie short story for someone right now. So it just keeps in my head.
Should like the back of your head, I get you.
So, yeah, that's basically everything going on right there. That's my stuff.
But there's also...
And then there's also all the other things, which is why I try to explain to people, like, writing a novel, I spend almost a dedicated 2 to 3 hours every day writing. The pandemic has allowed me to do that, which is awesome. But there's still also the hour or two of marketing stuff I have to do. Also the hour or two of tech stuff I have to do, website updates. Like, people don't realize that the job of being a writer is not like, and I knew this. And when the pandemic happened, I was like, yes, I can be a full-time writer. I just had this image of all day sipping coffee and writing. It's like 3 hours of writing and then all the admin work that no one wants to do.
Yeah, you gotta be active on your social media. You gotta respond to emails. You gotta handle contracts. You gotta handle all this stuff that you're like, I should have a secretary for this kind of stuff, or an intern.
And it got so, because I was producing so much more writing than I've ever produced in my life, it got to a point where I was like, what do I do with all this writing? So I have 3 finished books right now sitting on a shelf. They're ready to go. I'm waiting for cover art. I'm waiting for editor spots. I'm waiting for, I'll have to do the formatting for them. Then I'm going to have them all put together. Then I'm going to have the narrator start to, it just, when you do it at a slow pace, it's kind of a side hustle. It becomes like, okay, it's metered out. Now it's taken on full-time status, and I fully understand what it means to be full-time now. And it is far more daunting than I ever anticipated.
Yeah, exactly. So see what you get to look forward to.
Woo!
Yeah. Hooray. Last big thing I want to ask you about also, I think we kind of hinted at this here and there, is the Geekorama podcast, which is sort of another arm of the superhero fiction website. You're up to episode 14, I believe. 14?
Yes, we'll record 15 tomorrow.
Nice. And this is you and Trish doing this, and you talk about like what's going on in your world in terms of your writing projects, but you also talk about different topics, which is totally my kind of show, as we've been talking about like zombies for like the past half hour.
And that's kind of, we wanted it to have there is a formula that we follow. So it's always, the standard introduction stuff, but then there's always, Trish is really big into geek history. And so we always have some bullet points of poignant geek history. Like last week's was all, Star Wars for May the 4th. And she looks for like really weird, obscure factoids about history. And then, we talk about the things that we're geeking out about, and I'm gonna have to go find something else because I've talked about zombies way too much today, and that was gonna be my geek out.
I know, right? Now you're just kind of like burnt out on it.
I'll have to see what's on Netflix tonight.
World-ending catastrophes that are not related to disease or stuff like that.
You want a really great end of world movie?
What's
Blind.
that? I haven't seen that.
You hate humanity by the end.
I hate it now, so that's fine.
So it won't be much of a transition.
There you go. Actually, Jeremy, I see where we have our counter apparently is kind of down. I think we have a limit on how long we can be live right now. So I know, right? Oh my God, there's apparently there's a time limit. Seriously, curse you, Instagram. But yeah,
if anyone's interested, check out the Geekorama podcast. It's every week, and it's just a bunch of authors being geeky and getting excited about the things we geek out about.
All right, and where to follow you? Where do folks do that?
The easiest place to follow me would be at the childrenofnostradamus.com website. It's where all my serial, my books, everything about me hangs out.
Excellent. Follow you on social media at writer Remy Flagg on Instagram.
Right, Remy Flagg.
Yep, right, Remy Flagg on Instagram. Remy Flagg on Facebook, Twitter. You're on Twitter too?
Yeah, it's all the same, right? Remy Flagg. You'll find me on literally every platform.
Excellent. Well, folks, definitely check out all the things he has going on. Look forward again to the virtual convention, May 18th through the 22nd. It's all on the website. And you
best be there.
I'll always be there. You kidding me? I'll be there for all of them. Remy, again, man, thank you so much.
We'll get you a press pass.
I could just hit like the Zoom button and be there, right? I get exclusive media access.
Yeah, just you get a special banner.
Yay! Excellent. Well, Remy, until next time.
Have a good one.